Honestly, the women that I know in my life who have some of the absolute best marriages are the ones who are most critical of marriage as an institution. Greetings and welcome to my channel, party people. I'm putting on some corrector on my eye. Okay, I'm doing my makeup. I got a couple errands I need to run, some things I do need to do, my God, today. And I wanted to chat just really quickly. Oh, I lost a nail. I wanted to chat really quickly about Ayesha Curry. So I was seeing some things on, it was coming across my timeline, my For You page, over on the TikTok app. Also, are we staying on the TikTok app when the cronies come and take it over, or are we leaving? What are our thoughts on that? Y'all let me know. But this came across my feed over on TikTok, and I said to myself, what did Ayesha Curry say? I feel like the girls do not like... There are some people that have an opinion of Ayesha Curry because she is vocal and she continues to remain in the spotlight when people feel like her husband is rich, her husband is wealthy. Why doesn't she just disappear? The only reason that you want access and visibility and you want access to the public is because you need money. That's what people believe. They believe that you only want to access the public because you need money. And you clearly don't need money, Ayesha Curry. You're so rich. You're so rich. So why would you not just go somewhere and be rich in private and quiet? Why don't you go sit down, be rich, enjoy your kids, enjoy your riches, because that's what you should do. That's what the general public believes about Ayesha Curry. They don't want her to be vocal. Yes, some of it is because people generally don't like women who are vocal and say things that burst open their fantasy of what they believe marriage is and what marriage should be. There are people like that. There are women specifically who are like that. They think you're speaking bad about your husband and you're speaking against God's plans and you're bringing something ill into your life. And there are people who fundamentally believe that. They don't want women to speak a certain kind of truth out loud. So I was hearing this online. So I was like, oh, okay, let me go watch the podcast and see, what did Ayesha Curry say that got the girls' panties in a bundle? What was Ayesha Curry saying? And of course, she was saying nothing. Like always, I just think people, they don't want her to speak because her husband is famous. And they want women to romanticize and lie about their feelings. And they can't relate to Ayesha Curry because she is so wealthy. She is so rich. She has access to resources and money that the average person just can literally not relate to. And because many of their life problems are rooted in finances, they can't understand why she would complain. She's living the dream. What is there to complain about when you are living the dream? In their minds, racism, sexism, misogyny, patriarchy all goes away. What is there to complain about? That's what they want. And so I watched the podcast, and let me just say this. I had to rewind like 5 times to try to figure out what the girls was complaining about. Do y'all just not like this woman? What did she say? She didn't even say anything harsh. I thought maybe it was her tone. Maybe she was smug or something, which I've not known her to be. Now, in full transparency, I did used to watch her YouTube and her vlog. I actually didn't even know she was married for a while. Or I didn't know her husband was famous. I knew she was married. Because I don't know anything about sports. When I tell you I don't know anything about sports, I cannot name 10 professional athletes. I cannot name 10. And if you take away Serena and Venus and Coco and LeBron James and Steph Curry, I probably could have named 5. Like, I just don't, that when I tell y'all, like, I live in La La Land when it comes to that. That's like my biggest gray area. Like, I don't know anything about sports. And my husband will tell you, like, I know all about pop culture. I'm like always in the news. I know generally about something's going on in the world. If there's a tsunami in Sri Lanka, I know about it 10 minutes later. But I can't tell you anything about any sports. I know what the sports teams are for different cities. So, like, I knew Ayesha Curry because I just thought she was like a YouTuber. I really didn't know exactly who she was, right? And I have come to learn so many things about Ayesha Curry against my will. Not because she's not a good person and not because what she's saying isn't the truth, but because people are blowing what she says consistently out of proportion. And y'all just need to say y'all don't like the girl. She literally said that she got married at a young age, which I can relate to. Let me just state my bias. I got married at a young age. I also was a person who did not want to get married. I didn't grow up dreaming about getting married. I was career driven. I was a girl who wanted to go places, move places. I didn't think about men. I didn't even think it was possible to be married to a man and have a good time. Like, no. I thought men came in your life to use you, to abuse you, and then expect you to look sexy and be available at nighttime. Misuse you, cheat on you, drink and beat you, and do things to you that you didn't want. And so why would a woman who valued her life, her time, her career, and her contributions to the world willingly sign up for a system that was deeply rooted in patriarchy and misogyny? I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I never understood it. I thought every woman was lying. I thought the girls who were married were lying out of their minds. I've come to learn that many of the girls are still lying. But I just was like, why would anybody sign up for that? I don't believe her. She can say it for a million times. So I totally relate to Ayesha Curry in that way. I also relate to Ayesha Curry in the way that, like, you know, it was similar for me and my husband, except we met in college and we married very early as well. I also had a child within the first year of marriage as well. I also can relate to the fact that, like, I didn't fully understand what was happening and that this motherhood journey would, like, suck my entire identity, and people would have questions for me and I would have questions for myself because I was young and I wanted to, like, you know, I wanted to explore and I wanted to be a part of the world and I wanted to have my own goals and my own identity outside of being associated with this child and this man who worked all day, which I was grateful for and appreciated and provided. But, like, my identity was going to be my identity regardless if a man provided for me or not. Does that make sense? Like, I totally relate to what she's saying. Like, I wanted to contribute to the world whether a man was making my life financially secure or not. And I didn't realize that until I got into a financially secure relationship and I didn't want to sit down and I didn't want to lay down, and I still had goals and I still had ideas and I still had things that I wanted to put into the public discourse. I still had contributions that I wanted to make. There were women that I wanted to meet. There were people that I wanted to see. There were causes that I cared about. And I think people just can't understand that because in their minds, in their ideal world, they want to build wealth so that they can disappear. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? In a world that constantly demands your labor and is constantly capitalizing on you, I understand that. People can't seem to understand that for Ayesha Curry, this is who she was going to be, right? Like, she was going to be an ambitious woman. She was going to be a woman that contributed to society. Her ideas, her thoughts, her humor, her wit, beyond what her husband was capable of doing because he's not her. It wasn't about she needed someone to financially take care of her. She was fully prepared to take care of herself, right? That's how she was raised. That was the journey that she was on. So I don't understand what the beef is and why people are so mad at Ayesha Curry. I think I won't go so far as say people are jealous of Ayesha Curry, because I think people throw around that word jealousy too much. They're jealous. Everybody's not jealous, girl. Some people literally don't understand because it's outside of their realm of understanding. Because her life sounds like freedom, sans the amount of children. Maybe one kid or two. For some people, that sounds like freedom. That sounds like the way to go. That sounds like easy. That's like, well, what else do you need? Also, this idea that Ayesha Curry doesn't have a career and she's had like 2 shows and several books and magazines and like she's constantly putting her ideas out there, and she's one of the most visible basketball wives out there. I think for her and many women who are feminist and who come into their own identity, even vis-a-vis a man, right? They're always going to have an objection to their identity being linked to a man, right? That's feminism 101, guys. She's a woman who believes her value is in contributing to society. Whether she needs to contribute to that society in exchange her labor for money, no, that barrier isn't there for her. But that doesn't mean she goes quietly into the night. And I think that's what y'all want from her. Y'all want her to go somewhere and sit down, right? You don't understand. It's the privilege of it all. I saw Breakfast Club interview, and I don't watch the Breakfast Club too much because of situations like this. In the interview, they were essentially saying that this conversation that she was having on the podcast can be seen as disrespectful to Steph Curry. And I don't see how. How was it disrespectful for her to tell her truth? And how she never expected to be married. Honestly, the women that I know in my life who have some of the absolute best marriages are the ones who are most critical of marriage as an institution. They're the ones who did not grow up wanting to be married. They're not trying to, find their soulmate. They didn't go out searching. Like, they had a deep and serious criticism for the institution of marriage. And, they just wound up finding themselves in love and being married. And a lot of the women in my life, those are the ones who have the successful marriages. It is the women, I hate to say it. Don't punish me. If this is you, I'm sorry. I'm not speaking ill on you. I'm not causing problems in your life and your marriage. But all the girls who they want to tell you about how, they fasted for 17 days and they walked 32 miles. And they did all of this stuff. And they put themselves in these rooms. And this, that. And yada, yada, yada. And this, that. And they are, the husband is the king of their life. And the head of their life. And, whatever their husband says goes. And if their husband wants to do this, they automatically do it. And, I have seen those marriages over time crumble. Because at some point, the woman is crumbling. You already live in misogyny and patriarchy. That's already there. There is nothing you can do to stop misogyny and patriarchy. And then you're getting in an institution that is misogynistic and patriarchal. And then you're going to say yes to a misogynistic and patriarchal person? And you are misogynistic and patriarchal? The way marriage is going to crush you is going to be insane. So you have to, I believe, in order to succeed, you have to go into it with a healthy amount of criticism for the institution. And you also have to be hyper aware of who you are and what you want. And you have to constantly fight for that every day, especially when motherhood gets involved, right? Especially when kids get involved, especially when in-laws get involved, especially when, patriarchal, misogynistic in-laws, mothers-in-laws, and everybody. You have to fight for yourself every single day. And I just think people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear women say that. That they never wanted to be mothers, or, she was shocked that she was pregnant after 3 months and she thought that she was going to be bar hopping. And I think it's also really reductive for people to say, well, that's why you shouldn't get married so young. I agree with that, even though I was also around the same age as Ayesha Curry and young as well. I agree with that. I think there is there has to be some maturing of the mind and the funds and the so many things. I do agree with that. Even though it worked out for me, it was working out for Ayesha Curry. Like there's a but I still overall for the average person, like for my own daughter, I believe it's really important to be a bit older. I think 30 is a healthy age, but what do I know? But I'm not gonna hold y'all, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. Every single one of my friends that's married, got married in their 30s, they've had the same exact experience. Imagine growing up with a person in your 20s and finding out who you are in the midst of that relationship. And saying, there are some things about this I want to bend and mold, but we are a bend and moldable couple because we grew up together. Okay? And I'm not advocating for it, but I'm simply saying that it doesn't make it harder than when you are 40 years old and you get married and you are who you are and that person is who they are. And then you find out this man wants you to lay everything down and stay at home and do this and do that. I think there are some women who fundamentally believe, who are like 36 and, 35, 34, and they fundamentally believe that one day a man is going to come into their life and they're going to love them so much and they're going to be so hyper aware of who they are and where they situate themselves within misogyny and patriarchy, and they're going to be so loving and amazing that the woman then is going to want to do all these things. They're going to want to quit their job. They're going to want to give over their entire identity to motherhood and wifedom. And I think there are women who fundamentally believe that. And I'm here to tell you right now, that is a fool's error. If you are a feminist today, you're going to be a feminist tomorrow. Don't believe that. And the fact that you think that you're going to do that all of a sudden at 40 years old, you've been living for 40 years. I know so many women who try to do that and they find out the man is not the man that you think he was. Like, no, these men want you to do all those things. And also, right, they want you to quit your job and be there for them and their child. And then also magically have a side hustle so then you can contribute to the household income. And also be quiet and suffer in silence. They want peace. And peace just really means they want you to suffer in silence and not speak about your pain. That's what's happening. Right? And I just think there are so many women who they just don't want to hear that. They want to hear roses and berries. They want to hear that you are in a wonderful, loving relationship. And because I don't know what it is. I just think they don't want women to tell the truth in public. They don't want to hear women say who have 4 children that they never wanted to be a mother. She didn't have an imagination for that. Why would she have an imagination for that? She wanted to be an actress. That was her dream. So why would you expect her to have an imagination for motherhood? Because she's a woman. I think people thought because she was hyper-religious. I think she grew up in a hyper-religious family and she was just like, oh yeah, no. This is how you keep women down and this is how you keep women back. And I don't want that for myself. That same religion is also, I believe, what made her susceptible to getting married at a young age. That's what I believe. I have no way of proving that. She didn't say that. But I feel like she alluded to that in some way. So yeah, y'all just don't like Ayesha Curry. She didn't say anything wrong. She's telling the truth in public and y'all mad. Get over it. Get over it. What did you expect her to say? That her husband is the head of her life and the king and everything. Bow down to him. Thank God he pays the bills every single day. Oh my God, look at my wonderful, amazing life. Y'all already know her life is tea. You can see that. She came to tell the truth. And I think it's important that she's saying this for younger women out there who think that marriage is the end all and be all and it's somehow going to save you and it's going to suppress all of your thoughts and ideas. There are some women that I know who have kids at older age. Like, again, all of my friends had kids after 35. Right? I totally relate to her 100%. Most of my friends, I should say, had kids after 35. And I totally relate to her when it comes to like having kids more than before anyone else. My daughter is a sophomore in college. My girlfriend just gave birth to a child in March. Her first child. Like, I have a girlfriend just had a baby a year. Her daughter's about to be a year old. Like, my friends are having children right now as we speak. And my daughter is a sophomore in college. My God, today. Right? And so I understand and relate to what she is saying. I have so much time to reflect and to think about who I'm going to become. And I didn't have an imagination for what it felt like, what it meant to have a child at such a young age. I just didn't have an imagination for that. I knew women who had kids at young ages, but honey, they suffering. Right? They had to take the long route. It took them 14 years to get an associate's degree, which I applaud them for. That's not shade at all, because it takes so much tenacity. I really, truly mean that. And then to get a bachelor's degree, and then, and to finally in their 40s, to get to a place where they feel some financial relief. Right? I've seen that happen for women. And so I think what Ayesha Curry is saying is, it can work out, but don't always go with the wind. You don't have to always go with the wind. You don't always have to say yes to the first boy that proposes to you. You don't always have to say yes just because someone loves you. You can wait 5 or 6 years before you get married, especially when you're that young, so that you can burr hop, so that you can have an identity outside of that man. But I will say, even when you have an identity outside of that man, getting into a relationship with that man, no matter how old you are, especially if that man is accomplished, if that man has a career, and his career is what is paying the family bills. Because some of y'all like, yeah, I know, no, I'm not talking about you girls who you husbands, he work, but it's not, it's not a dominant force in your life, right? I'm saying when your husband's work is a dominant force in your life. I'm over in the Maldives. My husband's on phone calls, conference calls. He's got emergency meetings. He's got to do this. We're walking in the morning time. He's on a conference call. Do you understand what I'm saying? When the work is ever present in your life, right? You are trying to find your identity outside of that man. I think what I don't have this problem that Ayesha Curry has, is that her husband is also a public figure. Right? And that has to be even more insurmountable, because every time you do something, they just automatically attribute your success to you being Steph Curry's wife. And I just think we just need to welcome her into the public discourse. I love when women speak their truth, especially about motherhood and identity and being a wife and what that means. I personally believe that some girls out there will be freed from these situations. They will be free. They will make better decisions. They will feel some level of clarity. They will hear their inner voice. They will fight in ways that they need to fight for their identity and their freedom, and also whatever marriage means to them, right? They will pick better partners. They will ask better questions. And I think we don't need to like squash this kind of conversation. We need to welcome it. We need to say, yes, yeah, this is what she means. And I don't think anything she said was bad. What she say was what she say? Sounded great to me. So that's my 2 cents for the day. If you like this kind of video, please like, please comment, please subscribe. Also hit the bell notification so that you never miss an upload from me. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.